Hello, welcome to Quackalope. Thank you for being here. I'm going to be giving you 5 reasons you should be excited about One More Quest, the brand new Dexterity-based RPG system from the creators of Dungeon Fighter. Shira and I just finished doing a head-to-head Dungeon Master and single-player adventure that was an absolute riot, and there's a lot of things I want to talk about in this system. Now, you already heard one of the key words here. Dexterity-based RPG. Yeah, there's an actual playmat in the center here that is a target board that is going to resolve how you roll and engage with your dice, and there are so many different connotations and contexts in which you are rolling your dice due to the actions that you're exhibiting, whether you're sneaking, so you're hiding below the table, rolling by hitting your elbow on the way down, or hiding it in front of your eye to do an investigation check to make sure that you can hit your target. Your die roll and the result of that die roll is going to be based on the board that you're landing on, and that creates a helter-skelter, chaotic environment that results in a lot of fantastic humor, some amazing feats of accomplishment, and also an incredible fail system. So with that being said, let's go ahead and swing into One More Quest. One More Quest is going to be an RPG system that doesn't take itself too seriously, which for me is actually really important and something that encourages a series of one-shots or smaller quests to take place around the dungeon party. Now, could you play a long campaign? Absolutely. But the idea here is to get around with a lot of people that love a good RPG game, get a few drinks in your system so no one's taking themselves too seriously, and roll some dice in the weirdest ways possible. And trust me, the ways that are laid out in this system, even in the quick start guide that I have access to, are so vast, numerous, and accurate to what you're actually doing, you feel like you're already having to engage in the roleplay environment just from the way that you're actually engaging with and rolling the dice. The first thing I want to talk about when it comes to the One More Quest system is going to be the Dexterity system. Now, I already described that as you're rolling your dice, you're going to be modifying them by a variety of interesting rolls, all the while trying to bounce them and get them onto this game board. This game board has a series of intervening numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10, which is the bullseye right there in the center. And depending on where you land, you're going to get that result. And if you get the symbol face up, or the 6, if you're playing with a regular die, you're going to double whatever result you get. That'll modify your stats, modify the items, the attack, the weapons that you get, and all of that will be added together to check your success. They have a 4-tier success and fail system. Off the board, it's going to be a simple fail. Off the board with a plus symbol or a 6 is going to be a heavy fail. On the board, over a certain number is going to be a moderate success. Over 10 is always going to be, or oftentimes going to be, a serious or significant success. Simple system, easy to approach, but where the game starts to open itself up and become absolutely amazing is going to be when you start taking a look at the different types of rolls and the different types of conditions you have. So, the different types of rolls, and this is just one of the sheets I have. Roll it off your hip, roll it through a hole, hot potato it between people, jump when you're rolling it, hit it off your knee, use your little fingers, tip it off your nose, off of your other hand, with one eye in front of the die, punch the table as you roll, pray before you roll, slap it as you roll, thumb flick it off your hand, twirl 360 degrees before you let go of the die, 2-finger roll, under the leg, under the table, under a wrist on the table, or an X shot. That's one page of modifiers that you can have throughout the course of this. They've come up with every physical and feasible way that people can engage with and roll dice. And man, do they accurately represent the type of dice that you're rolling. If you're sneaking, you might be hiding. If you're ducking under a table or doing a burst attack, you might be slamming the die against the table in order to knock it out of your hand and hopefully get it onto the board. There's so many cool ways for you to engage in the Dexterity system. The Dexterity system, honestly, makes the game lighthearted, fun, and approachable for anyone that's willing to sit back, kick a few drinks, and just have a good time. Number 2, the second thing that I want to emphasize is going to be the one-shot or mini-campaign nature of One More Quest. It's a system that encourages you to go, yes, but what happens next? They have really approachable character sheets that build out the people that you're playing with, already have approachable backstories, beautiful artwork, lore, and motivation for everyone that you're playing with. So you can just hand out a few sheets, tell people who they want to pick, or give them the option, and dive directly into a campaign. The campaign was witty, easy to digest, simple in its approach with some creative traps or tricks that players might not be expecting, and I have a few of those little one-shots that they've already shared with me. They all have a great sense of character, humor, and approach the story and the system in a really fun way, encouraging you to use and play with the different skills and the different types of dice rolling that the game state encourages. But it's also a system that just gives you the floor, the groundwork to create your own simple one-shot. Set your heroes through a dungeon. Have them be middling, okay dungeon crawlers, and have them do their very best as a party to overcome the tactics, traps, and creatures in their way. What more do you need for a night of RPG? The third thing I want to talk about is going to be the lore. The writing is full of humor, character, life, all throughout this game. There's so much fun twists on the nature of what an RPG is that I really found myself charmed and enjoyed continuing to read all of the different narrative tropes. I'm looking for the goblins because the goblins were some of my favorite side elements as we were playing. Most dungeon fighters view goblins like blackheads, who hasn't had one on their back or 5 on their face. They're a minor irritant, common and unworthy, squashed without a moment's attention. And if in the distance you hear the faint sound, like a desperate cry coming from a small room, know that it's a goblin, and you've made it cry. Because goblins are not blackheads. First of all, they are green and above all useful, sometimes fundamental. The silent underclass of middleware provide dungeons with essential services, especially hygiene, reducing the risk of contracting diseases, allergies, or food intolerances. In return, they only ask to be noticed, not by you, but by the god king of all goblins. A goblin's entire existence is dedicated to pleasing their monarch, currently Slablak III, to carry out the humble tasks he assigns to them and send them a stipend equal to 70% of their income every month. Goblin status as a very cheap labor force, combined with the dungeon's need for creatures to perform menial tasks, corpse disposal, empty potion bottle collection, etc., has made the goblin a silent but unubiquitous figure. A study by the Protectorate of Magic has shown that 86 times out of 100, the first monster encountered in the career of a dungeon fighter is a goblin. I love that. I love that lore. I love that twist, the subversion on the nature of what you think a creature is going to be. We have the same thing with the hot dogs or the phoenix that is really just a flaming turkey that doesn't care that it's destroying everything around it. It plays with your expectations in a fun, humorous, but really, really refreshing way. And that's one of the things that I absolutely cannot get enough of when it comes to this system. There is a ton to love and a ton to dig into. Now, I was looking for my notes because I had them here at some point talking about the 5 pillars of what I wanted to dive into. But it seems I've lost them, so excuse me for a moment. Yes, so beyond the idea of fantastic lore writing is going to be a thing that we're just doing with this video, which is going to be the fail-forward mentality of One More Quest. You're not supposed to hit every dice roll. In fact, most of them will probably miss. This is a hard and very skilled thing to do. I found that if you go low, you have a better chance of getting multiple bounces and landing somewhere productive, whereas high, aggressive bounces usually will end up off the mat in some form or function. And the game state encourages the DM or the person running the RPG, the SDM I believe is how it describes it, the Super Dungeon Master, to execute on it in a way that moves everyone forward. Have it be awful. Have them lose precious items or trinkets or skills or have consequences for failing, but never have it be an open-ended, you just don't do that. You just can't do something. Now, it's not always easy to do. Sometimes you have to be really creative with the way that you twist, and I found myself even having to push the envelope a little bit. But it does tell you to expect players to, well, not always succeed, and that's okay. The storyline should and can continue to progress. It even gives you moments in the story that it builds for you where if things are going too poorly, here's a good way to get your characters out of it while still giving them a actual relatable consequence. Maybe something breaks loose or people run away because someone worse has just shown up, but it gives your players a chance to recoup, breathe, and think of a new strategy or a new way to approach the situation. And then finally, the last thing that I want to emphasize is just how much pure fun this system is. It's not designed to be serious. It's designed to be a crunchy, aggressive, good quality RPG that still allows you to make poop jokes and laugh halfway through. The rulebook is full of crass humor and things or elements that just make note of the fact that it's making fun of what this game is. But along that, it has a complex rule system, a deep, crunchy dice rolling and action system. Items, weapons, trinkets, gems that you find all can combine to make it so instead of just bouncing the dice twice before you hit, you might be throwing it behind your back with your eyes closed, hoping that it bounces twice and then lands somewhere on the table, or directly off the knee while you're eye level, trying to get a double bounce and have it land back on the mat. There's a complexity to the rule system that means it takes itself seriously as an RPG, that any RPG player will be able to dig into and really get and kind of boil the flesh off of. But if you just want to sit back, have some drinks, enjoy a night, maybe take a break from your heavier Dungeons & Dragons campaign once a favorite hero has died or it's just been one of those evenings, this is probably one of the best systems I've came across to encourage laughter. It is fun. Just pure fun. And the more people, the more the merrier. The crazier it gets, the weirder the stories you can tell, and the more everyone collectively can laugh when you have a fantastic or horrible dice roll. Because both results, if treated right by the DM, are ridiculous. So, there you have it. That is 5 reasons why you should be excited about one more quest. This is coming to Kickstarter soon, so keep your eyes out. A link will be in the top of the video description. And like always, keep adventuring. There's a world out there for you to discover.